Welcome traders. Today, instead of taking a look at an individual chart, we're going to run through a few different ones here and kind of focus on the ascending triangle pattern. Now, just for starters, I would recommend that people check out places like stockcharts.com or perhaps even Investopedia to find more examples and actually read definitions and look at the hallmarks of different patterns. I did take 3 different ones today. They all happen to be big board stocks. I tried to find 3 that were in long-term uptrends, because an ascending triangle pattern can be used in a lot of different situations, but it's generally regarded as a continuation pattern. So in a classic example of it, you want to see an established uptrend. In the case of Carter Holdings, a New York Stock Exchange company, stock had been on a solid rise, pulled back from its highs, filled a gap that was left open, bottomed out here at 49.47, and continued to make higher lows from that point forward over the last couple months. Now a caveat to this is some people might draw a trend line like that and call it a little bit of a wedge pattern. But in reality, you see the stock's had a difficult time closing above that $56 level. And that's where I'd be looking for a breakout point. And that's the actual formation of the triangle. The height of this triangle would be from that bottom point, 49.47. And I'd be looking for the breakout point at $56. The height of that pattern is important because that's the gauge for a target. So in this case, the difference would be $6.53. So if this pattern continues, stock price rises through here. Upon the breakout, a price target of the $56 plus the difference, $6.53, would have put a target price from the pattern at $62.53. Now basically with volume from the start of the pattern throughout the pattern, generally speaking, you want to see volume contracting, and then on a breakout of the pattern, always looking for a substantial increase in volume to blow through resistance. Followers of our charts know that I reference that all the time. Doesn't matter if it's a double bottom. It doesn't matter if it's a chart that's not in a pattern at all and there's firm resistance points set up. Any break of resistance, you want to see a spike in volume to solidify bullish pressure coming into the play. Now something that's pretty common with this sort of pattern, it's actually pretty common with a lot of patterns, is once the resistance is broken, the stock may try and pull back down, retrace a little bit. You want to see that resistance point serve as a new support level. It's establishing a new high or low, and generally what will happen is the uptrend will continue from that point forward. Just a real quick point in case with that, this right through here was basically an ascending triangle. Stock made a strong move, pulled back, made a few higher lows, was dealing with some resistance at 50, broke out right through there, actually on a very little increase in volume. But you see the breakout happened, stock price pulled back down, sat on top of that old resistance to form a support, then the move continued, and as it so happens, it pulled back down, held that old resistance once again as support, and that was basically the start of this next ascending triangle. So that's why patterns, support, and resistance become very important. We'll take a quick look at a couple other charts, and I won't go into such detail, but we'll notice the definitive points creating the bottom side of the triangle, and we'll notice the resistance points. Because in order for it to really be effective, you want to see at least 2 points forming the ascension, and you want to see at least 2 points forming resistance. Here's Advent software. It actually looks like we could go all the way back to there. Notice the increasing highs. And although there was a peak up here at 28.82 throughout 2012, stock has had a very difficult time moving through $28. Right now the stock price is right near that resistance, and I'd be looking for a breakout. And understand that targets are not an exact science. They just provide a general gauge of what you're looking for from the pattern. And in the case of ADVS, the height of the triangle is about $5.50 from $28. Take it all the way down to $22.50. So again, basic calculation. I won't be able to draw this exactly because there's just not enough room. Would put a price target based on the pattern of around $33. American Vanguard Corp is another one. And I picked this one because it's a little bit different. It's a very shallow triangle. But you notice 23.20, 23.40, 23.50, 24.08, 24.18. Making slightly higher lows, but definitively making an upward move. That breakout point came into play right there through the 26.70 area. Volume was mildly tapering off, and once again, not a big volume surge on the breakout, which I'd reiterate, again, that's a perfect example of it. I tried to pick 3 that were current. You can see all these are from this week, but the point being here, breakout, mild move, dropped right back down on that old resistance, serve as support, formed a new higher low, and held it, showing strength in the chart. What I'd be looking for on a target on this? Again, it's pretty simple. The height of the widest part, 23.20. I would just call 26.60 as the breakout point. That's a difference of $3.40. Add the depth to the breakout, gives you a target of $30. Now, as always, it's not an exact science. Technical analysis is about increasing odds. It's also predicated upon the idea that there are lots of technical traders out there, and the system tends to perpetuate itself. So in some senses, technical analysis can become a self-fulfilling prophecy because so many people are looking for the same thing. But in general, ascending triangles can be very powerful patterns. And I thought we'd spend a few minutes today doing something different, looking at this continuation pattern a little bit more, talk about what to look for. And again, I'd encourage people to do their own due diligence, do a little bit more reading on ascending triangles. I feel pretty confident that by doing so, you'll see plenty of classic examples that have historically performed that could reinforce the potency of seeing volume spikes on breakouts and things like that. But all in all, CRI, ADVS, and AVD are all nice current examples of ascending triangles. So take a few minutes and do some due diligence, and we'll revisit some different patterns in the future. As always, this video is merely my interpretation of technical analysis. Thank you for watching, and trade smart.